Tax season is here, and for millions of Americans, it's one of the most dreaded times of the year. But here's the kicker. Most people overpay, not in taxes, but just to file them. Every year, taxpayers waste up to $13 billion paying for services they may not even need. The truth, filing your taxes has never been easier. And with the 2025 standard deductions increasing, it's time to reclaim your money and your sanity. Let's explore why this year is the perfect time to do your taxes yourself and how to avoid overcomplicating this tax process. I'm going to go over which tools can make it easier than ever to file your taxes. Stick around because this could save you a few $100s and a whole lot of stress. Let's get to it.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror. Where future success is reflected in our knowledge of fixing the one thing we can control, ourselves.
Welcome to the Financial Mirror, and thanks for joining me today as we continue to work to improve the one thing that we can control, ourselves. Here at the Financial Mirror, it is not about the numbers and spreadsheets alone, but about transforming and educating you on money so that you can make smarter financial decisions. If this is the first time you are joining in, don't forget to hit subscribe on YouTube to be notified of all the new episodes as they release. If you're listening on Rumble, don't forget to follow the channel and like the video. And on any podcast platform of your choice, don't forget to leave a 5-star review and a written comment, as both go a long way in getting this message out to more and more listeners. So today we are talking about taxes. I did an episode just a few weeks back about preparing, getting ready to file taxes, and now that time is here. People are starting to get their tax documents in. At this point, many people should be getting everything that they need to jump on in and start filing those taxes. But for a lot of people, that leaves them a little hesitant as they don't know where to turn. What should I do about filing my taxes? I don't know how to file my taxes. Some common problems that people run into. What I want to talk to you today is that a simple Google search will lead you to a tax professional. And with that comes a tax professional fee. And you will pay a lot of money to file your taxes. The thing is that not everyone needs a tax professional to help them file their taxes. In most cases, you can simply do it yourself. I want to take that and a little bit further and show you how easy that can be. Don't let it feel overwhelming. Don't let it feel like that the world's about to come to an end. All I'm saying is that it doesn't have to be as hard as you believe that it would be. So this year, the IRS has released tax inflation adjustments for tax year 2025. What does this mean? Well, for most, this means that the standard deduction, which is the fixed amount taxpayers can deduct from their income without itemizing, has increased. So that standard deduction has increased. When we look at the IRS website, you can see that there was, this is the standard deduction section here, and for single taxpayers, $15,000 for single taxpayers and married individuals filing separately, $30,000 for couples filing jointly, and $22,500 for heads of households. Okay, so if you, just for an example's sake, if you are a single filer and you earned $50,000, you get a $15,000 standard deduction, so you will only be taxed on $35,000, right? So that's what that means. And there's nothing you have to do to get that. Like, that's just out of the box. When you file taxes, that's what you get. You file it with a standard deduction, you get $15,000 removed from your earnings, okay? So that's why this whole episode came to be, is that many people just don't need to itemize. Like, they really don't need to itemize. Unless your deductions, think about things like mortgage interest, medical expenses, charitable contributions, all of those things added together exceed the amount of the standard deduction. The standard deduction is the way to go. Over 87% of taxpayers use the standard deduction. It saves time, it saves effort, and there's very little time where it doesn't get you the most bang for your buck, the most refund for your filing, right? But if 80% of taxpayers use the standard deduction, why are tax professionals still in business and making tons of money? Right? Like how is that even a thing? If 87% use a standard deduction, that means that all the receipts, all the accounting paperwork, all that stuff that you would take to a tax professional to sort everything out for you is kind of wasted. It's wasted time and effort because they're just marking, hey, this person, John Doe, is taking standard deduction. All that paperwork's not necessary. It's not necessary. If you're taking a standard deduction, the itemized reporting, the itemized layout is just not necessary. Okay. So that's where I wanted to talk about is there's benefit in this increase first and foremost, but there's benefit to millions of Americans to just simply make filing easier, right? Just make filing easier. The average cost with a professional is around $150 to $450, right? And it totally depends on your tax situation. So the more complicated your tax situation, the more expensive the tax professional is, okay? Americans are wasting about $13 billion on filing services that they don't particularly need. They qualify for free and low-cost options to get your taxes filed, and you just simply don't need a tax professional to file with a standard deduction. You really don't. In today's time, you really don't. You really don't. People with complex filing situations, right? Self-employed with multiple 1099s, real estate investors managing depreciation or multiple properties, high net worth individuals with trusts or these like intricate investment scenarios. Those people may benefit from a tax professional. If you're in those situations, you may benefit from a tax professional. I'm not even telling you that you will, but you may. But for everyone else, paying $100, $200, $300 for a tax professional to take the standard deduction is like using a chainsaw to cut butter. Like it's not necessary. It's really not necessary. A small little butter knife, you can slice right through it, right? It's an overkill. It's totally an overkill. But for some reason, people think that if I go to a tax professional, I'm going to get more refund. And that's not how it works. That's not exactly how it works. If you go to a tax professional and they file you as a standard deduction, everything else that's going to get you a bigger refund through like credits that are out there, like tax credits, they are what they are. And most of the tax software out there today is going to ask you enough questions to uncover which of those tax credits you qualify for, right? That's where it's going to help you. So if you earn W-2 income and you are taking a standard deduction, you can save significant time and money by filing yourself, right? By filing yourself. It's so easy. So easy to use. So there are tons of options out there to get started. But first, I'm going to do a small recap of what I went over on the episode about prepping and getting ready for tax season. But the first thing that you need to do is simply gather all of your necessary documents, your W-2, your 1099, social security number of all the people in your household that you're filing under. You need to get all the necessary documentation, and then you're set. You're ready to go. Think about your bank statements, like your like interest off of your checking and savings accounts. If you have an investment account that you like invest in, go pick that up too. Just any kind of like banking and like brokerage reports, just pull those, get all those statements and get that those tax documents and get ready to file, right? But you shouldn't need that much. Some 1099s and W-2s and you're probably good. Okay. So the second thing, so that's the first thing, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Get all those documents and you're step one done. Step two is you're going to choose a tax software. And I'm going to go over a couple here in a little while. Super duper easy. Pick out which one works best for you. Done. Okay. I'm going to go over those in a second. The third thing that you need to do after you've gathered the documents, after you've chose who you're going to go with, you're going to input your income details. You're going to confirm your deductions. You're going to answer any questions that the software prompts you. It's going to say like things like, did you have XYZ on this date? And you're going to say, well, did I? No, I didn't. And you're going to answer no. And it's mostly like yes or no questions, a couple like checkbox, multiple choice, like, but it's your life in the last year. It's all you're answering about. Not too difficult, right? Then you're going to review it. And for most of these softwares out there, you're going to do an e-file, electronic filing with the IRS, and you are going to be set. Just like that, tax season's over. The software is going to tell you your anticipated refund. You're going to set up like direct deposit or something like that, which is great because you don't have to worry about the check getting lost in the mail if you are getting a refund. If you owe money, you can go ahead and set up how you're going to pay that, or you can just pay it. All those things are phenomenal, right? All those things are phenomenal. And it's really that easy. Like I'm not sugarcoating it. It's really that easy. Not hard at all. You can probably do it in one afternoon and you're completely done for the whole year, right? Don't overcomplicate it. Don't make this challenging. Because here's a lot of people, and I'm being serious when I say this, a lot of people will go to a tax professional, pay a few $100s to get their taxes done because they think they're going to get more money. And I'm not telling you that it is not true. I just don't think that the return on investment is what you think it is. Like if you spent $450 to file with a professional, you may get an additional $450 back, right? You may get an additional $250 back, but you spent $450. Like in most cases, if you're taking the standard deduction, going to a tax professional is not reaping the benefits of what you paid to get your taxes done. Okay? In most cases. Okay? Second thing is this misconception about refunds. When you do it yourself, maybe it comes out and it says you don't get a refund this year. You actually owe $20. Or you do get a refund, but it's only $100. And maybe last year you got $1,000. Maybe last year you got $3,000. But last year your situation was different. Maybe you got a raise and you forgot to change your W-4 to change your withholdings. There's a lot of things that could have changed in your situation, and it has nothing to do with who prepared your taxes last year versus this year. There's a total misconception about refunds. A refund it means you overpaid in taxes. The government is giving it back. That's all it is. This isn't free money. If you don't get a refund in a tax season, it just means that you paid just enough to break even on taxes. Or if you owe a little bit, it means you just didn't pay enough in taxes, which both of those are ideal situations. If you don't get a refund, it means you've withheld correctly. You're not giving the government this free loan, which is what most people do. If you get a $4,000 refund and you did the standard deduction and very minimal credits, you gave the government a lot of money that you could have had all year. You could have taken that money at the beginning of the year and paid off debt. You could have taken that money at the beginning of the year or throughout the year and invested it. So a lot of things you could have done differently had you had that money over months and months and months, okay? So don't get that confused. The key to a refund is to adjust your withholdings annually. Revisit your W-4 to avoid large refunds or underpayments, right? You kind of want to find that happy median of how much should I be withholding from my check to pay the taxes, okay? To pay the taxes. So, couple options that are out there. There's a couple options, and I'm going to run through these, and I'm going to hit a couple of the common tax myths, and hopefully we get you set up to start doing your taxes today, tomorrow, next week. But doing them yourself. DIY this year's taxes. If you're going to take standard deduction, DIY this year's taxes. Okay. Now, first place that I was going to cover is the IRS actually has a website called Free File. 70% of taxpayers out there qualify for IRS Free File, but not many people are using it. Okay, Free File is a way for you to do your taxes for free directly through the IRS. It's available on their website. The problem with it is that there is an income limit. There's an income limit on how much you can earn per year to qualify for Free File. Okay. This is the website, and it takes you through. Here's a little FAQ section for what you need to get started, all those kind of good things. Here's a list of what they say you need to get started. And prior year returns are always good. But if you get on here and you do Free File, and the adjusted gross income is $84,000 or less. So if you make $84,000 or less, you qualify for Free File. But it gives you a chance to file for free, right? $84,000 or less, IRS directly has you a way to file your taxes for free directly, right? It's available through their website with 8 participating providers, and allows you to go through and do this. I will note that this is the federal taxes, and for state, you would incur additional costs. So even if you file for free through the IRS's Free File system, you will incur additional cost, or you may incur, let me say, additional costs when you file with your state. Okay. So just so you know that. But this is one place that you can go and file your taxes, the IRS. Second place that I was going to show you is H&R Block, right? H&R Block has a online service that you don't have to go to a facility or a brick and mortar to file your taxes. Okay. They have 4 options: free, right? 0 per state, 0 for your federal, and completely free. And this is for, some people, and maybe this is not for you, right? You kind of want to go through here and look and see. So for this one, you're going to get like student loan deductions and tuition expenses. You're going to get some child tax credit stuff in here. But this is like super duper easy. You're going to do standard deduction. Life's going to go on. Here, the deluxe is where you're going to get most of your credits and deductions, right? You're going to go through and they're going to ask you all about your life to get your credits and deductions. For most people, this is probably, if you have a lot of credits and deductions that you potentially qualify for, the deluxe is where you're going to want to sit at. But think about it. $35 to do your federal, and $37 per state that you need to file, right? $37 per state. So, you're sitting up at $72 and you're done, right? $72 and you have your state and your federal filed, just like that. And then they do have the more premium options. But like I said, as you kind of get deeper into the premiums and the self-employeds and all that, I would at least lean that you could use a tax professional to do those. I'm not saying you can't do them yourself. Maybe give yourself a few years of doing a tax professional and having some good prior tax returns on hand to really determine how to set your stuff up. Maybe it works out then, but specifically talking to those people that are in fairly simple tax situations, which is about 87% of people that would be listening, or just normal, like standard deduction kind of folks, like getting after it, working hard and getting that standard deduction, and life goes on. So H&R Block is another good one to look at. Tax Act, TAXACT, is another one that is out there that people talk about a lot about. And once again, you can free for kind of basic qualifying income and deductions. You do have to pay additional for state. Deluxe gives you a little bit more of the questions around credits and deductions, $29.99 plus state. And then once you start getting into Premier and Self-Employed, same as I talked about on the H&R Block, just determine if those are right for you. But all in all, these are still great options. Tax Act is another one. The third one I was going to show you is TurboTax. They are pretty popular, I would say. They're everywhere. Intuit is the company, and TurboTax is just another way to do it. TurboTax is good. I will say it's good. They have a lot of options, even a full service where an expert does your taxes for you, starting at $89. So they have a lot of options, and this do your own taxes is if you do a standard deduction, this do your own taxes is where you want to sit at. Not the assisted, not the full service, just the standard deduction stuff is right here. They're going to give you some credits. They're going to give you some deductions, all that kind of good jazz. Okay. So pretty self-explanatory stuff on TurboTax. You really have three options. Once you get into this, there's a few other options that you would have that you can buy. That's the reason why there's a range of $0 to $89, and then additional cost for state on that one. Then the last one is kind of new on the scene, but Ramsey has Smart Tax, Dave Ramsey, and let me tell you that I've never actually been through their software, but what I will tell you is that they are the cheapest. In terms of features, in terms of things you get, you are in a pretty good spot with this. So let me take that back. Maybe not cheapest, but they are, in terms of what you get, they are very much leading in terms of the money value. So if you did like the Smart Tax Federal Classic, you're going to spend $24.95 and then $44.95 for your state, right? But you're going to get pretty much everything you need to file your taxes with the Smart Tax Federal Classic. If you go to Federal Premium, you can see here the biggest changes is you get some priority support, you get a free coaching session, and you get 1 month of identity protection, right? So that really has nothing to do with your filing your taxes, just an additional little service that you can get. The Smart Tax Federal Classic is all you need to file your taxes, plus pay for your state so you can file with your state. But that is really like how easy this is. Pick one of these platforms, and roll with it, right? There's tons of like comparison stuff out there for comparing, apples and oranges here. But in all honesty, like if you pick one of those, you're in good shape. You're in good shape. You're going to answer your questions about your credits. You're going to answer your questions about your deductions. You're going to walk through the process. And at the end, you're going to be done. You're going to be done with your taxes. You're going to take the standard deduction. If you've not, let me give you this. If you've not tracked your expenses throughout the year and earmarked all of them to know what they are, that's why tax season is painful. And think about going through all of that effort to turn around and the system spit out and say, yeah, standard deduction is the best for you, right? Like if you itemized and you got an extra $500, is it worth the time that it took you to go through and get all that stuff? Maybe. But if the $500 cost you $450 to get it to file with a professional, is the $50 worth it? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I would just tell you, most people out there, if you're listening to this, most people out there will be doing standard deductions. Even if they go to a tax professional, they will do standard deduction. $15,000 is definitely a lot for a deduction, and to make that up in itemized cost is tough. It is tough for most people. So especially if you're not tracking it. So anyways, a couple of myths that are out there. Filing taxes is too complicated. Or said another way, I don't understand. Modern software, tax software, simplifies everything. And I'll be honest with you, I bet you a lot of tax professionals are using very similar like back-end technology to do this. AI is this year will probably transform how a lot of this software even works. So if you did it last year, it's probably even easier this year with AI. Like, I'm just being honest. If you can follow a recipe, you can file your taxes. If you can follow instructions, if you order something on Amazon, like a piece of furniture, and you can follow the instructions to put it together, you can file your taxes. I'm guaranteeing it. Like, you can file your taxes. If you can follow basic instructions, you can file your taxes. I promise. I promise. Get your documents and you'll be fine. Myth number 2 is a refund means you did it right. It's not true. I actually would tell you that if you get a big refund, you are over withholding on your taxes that you're paying out of all of your paychecks. Not very financially savvy. 0% interest on that loan to the government. You earned nothing. That money, if you paid an extra $100 in taxes, guess what? You're getting back $100. If you invested $100 in January, you would have a nice return come December. Just $100. Just $100. Think about that for the $3,000 refund. Just remember that. Aim for a small refund or balance filing to maximize your money throughout the year. Okay. Then the third myth is free file is only for the lowest earners. I showed you $84,000 is the cap. Free file could absolutely help many people out there if you are needing somewhere to file taxes directly through the IRS, and pretty low cost way to do that. So, biggest thing to take away today is filing your taxes on your own has never been easier. This year, with the standard deduction increasing to $15,000 in 2025, it is a great option for most people. It is. For most people, the standard deduction is just fine. So go with those free and low cost options that many people overlook, and just don't overpay to file taxes. Please save that money, put it towards your debt, put it towards your savings, put it towards your down payment you're saving for, something. Take that money and do something good with it, not pay to file your taxes, okay? So this tax season, take control of your money. Explore some of these free and affordable filing tools we discussed, and don't let tax season stress you out. Please don't let tax season stress you out. It shouldn't be stressful. Just collect the documents, get it all together, pick a website to go and file with, and you will be fine. So I hope you got something out of this episode. I hope that you took a little bit away so that you could go out and tackle this tax season. Put it behind you. If you have to pay, pay. If you don't get a refund or have to pay, great. If you get a refund, cool. Go think about changing your withholdings. Talk to someone. Maybe your employer has someone to help balance your W-4. If you don't, the IRS has a W-4 withholdings calculator you can use. Go look at that. All those are great options. They can just help you have more money throughout the year, right? So if your months are tight and you're trying to earn a little bit more money, withholding a little less is a great place to start. So like I said, I hope you got something out of this episode. If you have any friends, family members, coworkers that could use this, share the episode with them. Just encouraging everyone to go out and continue working towards improving those finances and achieving those financial goals that you set for yourself this year. So get out there, get after it. And until next week, continue improving the one thing you can control, yourself. Peace.
Well, that wraps up today's Financial Mirror. Join us next week as we continue to work on ourselves, change our mentality, and to commit to achieving the success we always envisioned. Regardless of your platform, help us grow as a community. Please like, subscribe, and share with the people in your lives.